we didn't really talk about this one too much, but AC Milan yesterday, the other highlight of Tuesday's Champions League action, Christian Pulisic led Milan to a win, opening the scoring. And I wanted to ask this Milan team right now ranks where within the teams you've watched to cover American players overseas?
Where do they rank, like among the best
Like,
teams that Americans ever played? Oh,
you're
I
like,
see.
like
I
so.
see.
So there's been Americans across Europe, especially the
Sure.
last 10 years. There's a whole, cottage industry of Americans abroad. Of the teams that you've, followed around Europe, which ones? Where does this rank in the teams you've enjoyed watching Americans play on?
Wow, that's so weird. I have never even thought about it in those terms. I don't think, because I'm watching for Pulisic. I mean, I want Milan to do well because that's good for Pulisic. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not an AC Milan. I wouldn't call myself an AC Milan fan. So I can't really put myself in that place of just enjoying what they're doing. In fact, I tend to be overly critical of Milan because I'm wanting them to do better for my guy, for Christian Pulisic. Now, and there have been times, obviously, where Pulisic hasn't been great for Milan. He's in an incredible run of form right now.
Of course.
But it seems as though, at least over the this season, and Milan in the Champions League in particular, and obviously this ends up as a 3-1 win with some controversy involved, right? They were aided by the red card, which I'm still not sure about. Like, I still don't know if I see that as a red card. It's just two guys clattering into one another. I know there's a foot is raised. I guess it studs up-ish. It's kind of hard to parse that. And I don't think slow-mo helps, even though it does show the stamp. But I would say that what frustrates me about Milan sometimes is that they seem to be three-quarters of a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Defensively, I think there's some issues there, obviously. Maignan a very good goalkeeper. I've got, Rafa Leao is incredibly frustrating to watch a lot of the time, particularly in these kind of games. And he got pulled yesterday by Fonseca. And what happens is Chukwueze comes in and makes the difference by just beating guys off the dribble on that right side, and then cutting the ball back to Reinders, who scores twice on the day. And I don't think you had that on your bingo card necessarily. That's bad. That's Brugge leaving that open, of course, for Milan to exploit. And again, when you have a man advantage at certain points, it's going to be easier. But I think Pulisic, has been so good that it becomes, hey, do more so that Pulisic can shine. But then it's also watching to see, hey, get the ball to Pulisic. Even though I know that as a soccer person, that might not be the best option for them at any given moment, I'm still thinking, hey, don't cut it back to him. Cut it back to Pulisic. Like, he's there too. Like, he's calling for the ball.
Yeah, you took that out of my mouth, because as I was watching it, I saw Pulisic, top of the box. Give it to him, but it went to him.
But it's and it ended up being the right decision, right? And Pulisic's not going to say it should have gone to me. He's going to say whatever works for the team, right? That's something we can say. What I do like, and I know that there's been some criticism of Christian Pulisic during his career of how he's not a big enough personality, right? He's the best player we've maybe ever produced out of American soccer, and he doesn't have the personality to sort of maximize what that could be for the game in this country. But that's not his fault, right? He's just who he is. And we've all seen I mentioned this, I think, last show, the golf cart video where he was talking about liking Milan and how it's great and he loves the San Siro and all these things. And then yesterday he scores the Olimpico, which,
I was going to say lucky or good on Olimpico.
No, luck. And he said it in Italian after the game that it was luck. He said, I was trying to cross the ball. I wasn't trying to score. I don't know that you can justifiably lie and say, yeah, I totally meant to do that after the fact, no matter who you are. But Christian Pulisic is aw shucks. He's such an aw shucks dude that it's like, yeah, even in Italian, he sounds the same. And somehow he's like, yeah, I was just trying to cross the ball, and it went in. Yeah, I guess I'm enjoying the Milan team maybe more than I've ever enjoyed a team with an American on it, because he's thriving, right? And because I see that as good for the sport in my country and certainly for my national team. If we're talking about European clubs where Americans have started, I mean, you could go back to Fulham. You talk about Clint Dempsey and some of those other American players on that Fulham team. They weren't winning trophies, but they made a Europa League final, right? They beat Juve.
They were a fun team to watch. They were a fun team
to watch.
Yeah, there was definitely some creators, and there's some highlight reels created within that run when Dempsey was on Fulham. But I was also thinking about how it's Juventus to watch McKennie. I've not really enjoyed too many Juventus watches, or even back in the day, Schalke. I didn't really enjoy following the teams that McKenny's been on so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, Schalke they were like a blood and thunder kind of team. There wasn't going to be a lot of nuance to the way that they played. Now they're a second division team as a club, so that's not good. Yeah, Juve's interesting. The pressure is obviously intense. I think there's a sense that even though he started yesterday after not playing in the international window, there's still this sense that McKenny's place at Juve is tenuous, and then it creates a little bit of a attention as you watch. I guess you're always thinking if he doesn't play well, he might lose his spot. And then so you're watching for McKenny to do well, and you can't really enjoy the game. As opposed to where I expect Pulisic to do good things now. And it's really Rafael and Reinders and whoever else is on the field that I'm like, please do something good. With Juve, it's like constantly watching to see if McKenny is living up to what he needs to do. And he got pulled in the 55th minute yesterday, I think. Oh, that was obviously not a good result for Juve, giving up he wasn't on the field when they gave up the winner. And there was a penalty kick that was given that was missed. Lots of bad things happened for Juve in that game yesterday. They just didn't create anything. And I imagine you could say that McKenny's a part of that.
AC Milan get that 3-1 win, their first win of the UEFA Champions League in the new format. Hopefully they continue improving. If you want to hit us up, MKickaround on the socials, X and Instagram, have your say. And then please like and subscribe and add comments. Trying to make
drop in the comments.
Interactive.
Drop in the comments. Sorry to cut you off there, Robert. But drop in the comments which of these teams with an American on it, and this is not by far the best sort of version of the Champions League for Americans, but which of these teams has the potential to go the farthest, if any of them? I mean, like, how do you see the prospects for Milan? Juve, obviously, we're waiting for Gio to play. It hasn't yet. Dortmund losing yesterday versus Real Madrid. Whatever team you believe an American's going to be playing for in the Champions League, tell us what you think their prospects are going forward.